You seem to really enjoy doing it, right?
Hmm.
So,
Cool.
yeah, so it's going well, and everything I think is going fine. We're finding that each week we're being able to scan even more and more. So you guys should have more. Randy, you should have more pictures to look at. So I think you're going to get a good, nice sample set of them, and I think it's a really good way to kind of figure out how feasible using the scanner is. Because like if you had all the time in the world, you could probably do a fairly good job. But just to go in and scan something really quick, we're finding that to be, unless you're pretty much on and have everything dialed in, it can be a challenge. So gonna
Yeah.
get a lot, you'll get a lot of information at the very least, and you'll know like, okay, someone going into a room and just, taking a quick scan, you can't, that really doesn't do justice.
Right.
It's a little bit, like you said, sometimes they kind of over advertise things a little bit and say, oh, it's so easy to use, just go in
Right.
and,
Yep.
you know,
Yep. So, okay. Well, that's good to know, and we'll review it in the next week or two and then just see if we want to just kind of change bases and work a little bit more on the social explorer aspect of what's
mhm.
going on. And we'll see. Nikki is working with some embedding the Unity viewers into websites, so that's cool.
Mhm.
Okay, well, that sounds good.
All right.
Thank you for that. Brianna, do you have
Yeah.
something you can share or show us?
Yeah, I'll share my screen right now. Um, Last week on Thursday, Randy and I met because we didn't have a production meeting, and rather than using the money functions in the menu, he suggests you suggested I make a money bank and a property bank, and I think that's much easier on the user's end as well, and it's much quicker to just copy. Let's say you are collecting $15, so you can just copy these and then paste them into your own game board and then update the totals yourself and whatnot. And then in addition to that, I created like sample title deed cards for each of the properties that correspond here. And the way that I did that is I just made a template for a property card and then just kept copying the template and changing it each time. And so the nice thing about this too is that if it gets passed on to anyone else for them to use, they can just make copies of all of the property cards I have and then change the titles and whatnot and still have all of the information be the exact same.
Oh, that's cool. So, what kind of a is that like a Google drawing or what
Yeah,
is
so
that?
these are just Google drawings because I'm not super good at using Photoshop or anything, but I think Google Drawings are nice too because they're easy to give to someone else to make copies of, and so it's just Google Drawings with a lot of different
Oh,
text
that's
boxes and
cool.
whatnot.
Okay. And then that probably works into the Google Slide very easily, right?
Yeah, you can when you're uploading photos to your Google Slide, you can either download them and then upload them, or you can upload straight from your own drive. And so you can go straight into the shared drive or your drive and then pull out the photos from there.
Cool. Cool. Oh, that's looking pretty. So do we have any more mechanics that are needed?
I don't think that there are any more mechanics. I think I have to edit the reformat mechanic a little to specify these because the when I first wrote the reformat mechanic in the game board insertion, it was based on different images, and I since changed the images a little, and so I think I have to adjust those. And then once that's set, it should be pretty easy to
Cool.
create your own game.
Then this is going to be the best deliverable. You need to pick 3 or 4 people to play it with to
Mm-hmm.
test it out.
Sounds
So
good.
that's going to be your test cycle is actual feedback. So just find either some Design Hub members so they can get paid to play, or
Mm-hmm.
friends, or you know people in the academic senate or whatever, and just log what goes right and what goes wrong, and get a couple of playing hours on it
Okay,
because it
that
sounds
sounds
like
good.
you're ready.
Yeah, for the most part, like I don't even need to change the reformatting function to test it, so that'll be a nice thing.
Okay,
Because that's something I can work on the side. It doesn't affect the gameplay at all in any way.
right, right. Okay, that is so cool. Well, I think that's really awesome. Okay, well, thank you. Um, Danny, how about you? I played the All Black game and I did pretty good. So go ahead. What do you got for us?
Hi, give me 1 second.
Okay.
Randy, can you record the meeting?
It, it
Aaron asked about that.
yes, it is being recorded.
Oh, I didn't know. Thank
Yeah.
you.
So, I was just trying to upload a new build to the Power server, and it would not run for some reason. So I had to end it in my task manager and restart my computer. And now my computer will not turn back on, which is a problem I've had before with this computer. So, I cannot show you right now, unfortunately, but the new build that I was going to upload, it now has the Tristan and I kind of talked about like other alternatives to the wireframe because the wireframe was not rendering correctly in the WebGL builds for the Power server. And so we were thinking about maybe like a particle system where it kind of has like a little like particle effect kind of going around the atom when you get close to it.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what I've created a very simple version of that. And so it works on my computer as far as I know, when my computer will turn on again.
Okay.
I have to like unplug it completely and then at least wait like 20 minutes and plug it back in and hopefully it'll turn back on. So yeah, so that's like the next thing that I've done is I'm just trying to like, I'm trying to, when I get frustrated figuring out how to highlight the atoms as we come up to them, I start working on the actual, just like the levels and stuff like that. That's aren't not as frustrating. And then when I like kind of do some of that, I keep going back to figuring out what I'm doing for the highlighting or the particle system or whatever. So I'm kind of like going back and forth, kind of like trying to keep my brain active
Cool.
going through this project. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. When I get that new build uploaded and if it works the way I expect it to, I'll let you know and you can
Okay.
take a look at it.
Okay, that's pretty cool. We're getting so close to having like level 1 sort of like done.
Yeah, actually, I would love to get together this week sometime with you and Tristan and kind of just talk more about what to do next and how we want to finish off refining the level. Just because, like, I was thinking that maybe the way we score it is keeping track of how many mistakes they have and then taking off a percentage of the score of out of 100% or whatever, if they make how many ever mistakes. And maybe we can score it that way. Because right now it kind of logs how many mistakes you have, but it's not altering the score. It's just the score is 10
Got it.
because for its 10 atoms. So maybe we can talk more about exactly how to score it. I have some ideas, but I'd love to like have you guys look at which ones you think would be better.
Cool.
And so yeah, if we could just, I'll message you guys and we can get together this week sometime. I'll take a look at your calendar.
Okay, that sounds awesome. Thank you. Dina, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. This week I had a meeting with Tristan and he helped me figure out how to do that CSV reader because it was working at first, but now it wasn't working with the multiple CSVs. And then I just set it up so now that there's like a text image showing up, showing what the lift force is, so that's working well. I can send pictures to the production text because I'm still at school, so I don't have access to my computer that has Origin, but I'll get those to you. But so far, so good. Really moving along. If I could get those newer CSVs, then I think the demo would be pretty much finalized.
Okay, well, that sounds cool. Why don't we also then meet this week sometime to go over, when this portion wraps up, what would be the next thing, right?
Yeah.
Because it sounds like we're pretty darn close. And I know Sam is making progress with the stress portion of it. So we can talk about whether we keep going and get the stress thing in, or build it out with more of these, or we'll think about what the next part is, because it sounds like we're pretty close to a solid success with this first part. So that's cool. And you guys, this is amazing. Like I said, the fall semester is usually when we just find out what all doesn't work, and people kind of get their legs under them. But you guys have been so flipping productive. It's incredible. So good work. Okay, so that sounds cool. Evans, what do you have for us? Do you have some stuff to show up, or where are you at?
Oh, yeah. Well, as you can see in the notes, I didn't get to do the texturing because apparently I remember Tristan had just told me that there was some method to it that's a little bit different, and the file looks a little unrecognizable. But I did go into the texturing in the Maya folder and just kind of did a color match to make certain that how it would come across. I would try to get into ZBrush to try to do this, but as of now, like, VMware is kind of didn't let me get in, so until that gets back in, I'll try to get into it and color it up and see what I can do in there.
Has anybody else had trouble with VMware? I was in it all weekend.
I haven't been using it, so I don't know. Could it be a problem with Duo?
Yeah. Are you doing the multi-factor authentication?
Doesn't use a Google sign-in, so I don't think it would correspond to it.
I know when I was having trouble with my Duo, the district essentially reset my account. So I had to go in and kind of, I had to put in a new password for my account and everything. So maybe it could be something like that.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm checking it out right now, make sure. I was on it all weekend, but and that one is on the
it's
Design Hub. Okay, we'll keep cruising. Why don't you see if you can, okay, so I see the ZBrush is on there, on the Design Hub. So, yeah, so just keep playing around with that a little bit and see if you can get into it and see what's up.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too much of a trouble. It's been a while since I've also done texturing, but I'll see about working that into the ZBrush portion of it once I get in.
Okay, cool. All right, well, and then make an appointment with me for this week. Not Thursday, of course, because that's a holiday, everybody, but that's cool. Okay, Jessica, what do you have for us?
All right. So I will share screen. I don't have a lot to show for this past week because I got sick at the start of the week and then I burnt my hand at the end of the week.
Oh no.
So that was fun. It's a little like wrinkled now where I got the burn, but it's fine. It doesn't hurt anymore. It just kind of feels weird. So not a big deal. But I was working on Amelia Bearhart.
Oh, cool.
And so essentially they don't have animals as options in Vion. So I was trying to see what I could use in Vion's character creators to try to make something that looks bear-like. And this was the best I could get at. And then I overlapped some assets on top of it. to make it look a little more bear-like, but then those assets have to be manually moved around when you apply animation to the character. So I started playing with that a little bit at the end. And they're obviously very rough. They're not finished or anything, but it was like the best that I could do with what's currently available in Vyond. And I showed this to Professor Veronica Torres, and she mentioned that, you know, requesting animals as something animatable would be something that you guys would probably request or mention to Vyond, because it's a little bit odd that that isn't an option. There is a teddy bear prop, but that teddy bear prop, it's not like the ragdoll that can be animated. So essentially what the next course of action will be with the Amelia Bearheart is for me to make that ragdoll animation in another program, probably Photoshop, since it's really easy to do that with a vector. And then because Vyond doesn't support alpha channels, which is what makes the transparency for things that are animated, I can't import it like a character like this, where the space around them is negative space.
Right.
So this would all be like a black box.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the solution to that was making it essentially a white box, and then having the bear always in a cloud form and trying to play with that.
Right.
But there's also the fact that in making it an outside animation, we have one, more control over it, and two, we can use it in any other program. We don't have to be restricted to Vyond.
Right. Well, I'm
Jessica?
wondering. Yeah, go ahead, Tristan.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking that you could just do like color key, like magenta behind it instead of just white. That way you could subtract it or replace it much more easier for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the issue though is that Vyond doesn't allow us to replace that color. It just imports it as essentially a movie.
So you're importing into Vyond. Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
into Vyond.
And so it might be worth us also talking to Vyond to see if we can get a hold of their API or something that allows us to understand their animation mechanics
Mm-hmm.
and actually create our own.
Yeah, I think it would be great if Vyond allowed us, because like they essentially do a ragdoll animation style, which is why we're able to be like able to customize our own characters, and then they apply the same animation to each character universally.
Mm-hmm.
It's just animating a ragdoll, like this point goes here at this time frame.
Right.
And it just visually looks different. And it would be great if they would do that and just essentially have that ragdoll animation that we can apply to our own assets that we put in.
Right.
That would be excellent. Or even make that an additional paid feature.
Yep. Okay. Well, that's really cool, though. We're getting there. Amelia Bearheart.
One other question, Jessica.
Mm-hmm.
Can you import images with transparency?
Plain static PNG images you can.
So could you,
So-
in a roundabout way, could you make your own like 30 frames?
I thought about importing the individual pieces and doing the ragdoll animation within Vyond itself. Veronica
much work?
didn't like that as much.
Yeah.
And there's also the fact of if we're using Vyond, we should be able to use Vyond's animations, you know? So why would we be doing that in Vyond otherwise?
Yep.
So
Yeah.
because
we
and
might-
like
we might
if
as
we
well
did it
use
natively,
Substance Painter or something like that.
yeah. If we did it natively in Vyond, we wouldn't be able to export it with an alpha channel either to be able to use it in outside animation software either. So does that make sense?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, okay. Well, that's cool. We'll just keep, but I think it's worth Veronica or I giving a call to Vyond
Yeah.
to see if we can, get their tools
Yeah.
and see. Okay. That sounds cool. Thank you. Nikki, what do you have to show us? Oops, hold on a sec. You guys show off a little bit. I gotta catch this one. Hi, it's Randy. Yeah, doing good. What can I do? Right. Yeah, actually, that's not a bad idea. Let's go ahead and do that. You're right. It's often easier to go. Oh, okay. Well, we're gonna cherry pick and choose out of this wonderful stuff. Um, yeah, I'm for that. Let's go ahead and do that. Yep. I think that's cool. Oh, okay. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, bye.
Birthday.
I'll say.
As for me, my father is was a Marine, so he no longer is part of the Marines, but we go together and go to different restaurants to get like the Veteran Day deals and stuff like that.
Oh, that's nice.
Cool. Okay. Thank you guys. That was we're trying to get a really cool Bejewel WordPress account.
Oh.
And that's like allow us to practice anything you could possibly imagine with WordPress.
Wow.
So we'll find out. The guy's going to send me a quote. It's really expensive, but we'll find out. Okay, so Nikki, you've got this one.
Yeah, this is the owl, the file you can push the buttons. So I just made this picture in Photoshop because on my website I have these buttons. So this is on the front page. I have this sliding menu or gallery. So I imagined how this look like with our file, the 3 dimension. And my idea would be people can go into the gallery and see each sculptures on pictures, and they have this 3D file, and they can interact, so they can move around and explore the sculptures.
Right, and we were able just to do a standard embed.
Yeah, so
worked.
I tried. Yeah, I tried place my buttons, so I cut the picture, and it didn't work out well. So I don't know. I have to figure out how I can edit this Google site.
Right.
What's
Well,
wrong with embed?
This is just a picture. If I can go back.
Well, I thought you meant the embedding of the actual.
No, this is the picture. So I
Okay.
tried to open, but this. Discord is strange for me.
Where's the actual site?
Sandbox.
Um,
So this is the sandbox.
right. So go down because we put the site on. We put the embedded one down below, right?
Yeah, so I did this. This is the embedded, and I just put here the buttons, but it doesn't move in the middle. And also, I have just an image from these dots, and if I reduce the size, it's cut the side. So maybe I have to cut the exact size, or I don't know how this Google works.
Well,
So this is
where was the one that I inserted? Because
so I use that. So I deleted mine because I just placed the picture. So here is the embed, or it should be, yeah.
oh, okay, I got it. So that is the one that works.
Yeah, I just replaced with mine.
Okay, cool.
But still, I just wanted these buttons in the side, in the middle. This one is almost good, a little smaller. And I have this go to gallery
What
button.
happens when you maximize it by hitting the full screen, a little icon
Yeah.
next to the library viewer text?
I
That
don't
one,
know.
yeah. When
And
I saw it, it went full screen.
this is a editor. And
Oh, when you're in present mode, you have to be
yeah,
in. You have to be. Yeah, you have to be in the published one, and then it'll go to the full.
so if I click publish,
Yeah, that's okay.
okay, nobody cares.
Well, now
So
go to the go see the published version. View published site.
view publish site.
Yep.
Okay. So the header also doesn't show well. I don't know. It doesn't do anything.
When I did it, it popped out to the full. It went to a new tab.
Browser were you using?
What?
Randy, what browser were you using?
Chrome.
Me
Chrome?
too. But these are working. I really like this light. So it's a very good thing in this viewer.
Right. And this was just the most simple embed. It was just embed by URL. So that was like
Yeah.
really super simple to do.
And we can also customize the index HTML page as well. We can have like a secondary page that's adjusted for this purpose.
Right. Right. So I think we have some more cool thing to do. But the fact that we can start getting the library viewer integrated directly onto the page, and Jessica, that's like super cool for what we're going to do, right? It's like, all right, we're getting it. That is awesome. Okay. Well, we'll keep working away at getting more of this integrated as we go. So that's good. Thank you, Nikki. That is looking really cool. Robert, where did you get to?
I finished most of the lathe simulator CSV functions, but I'm just getting some clarifications on a few things, so I think I'll set up a meet with you sometime tomorrow on Tuesday.
Perfect. Perfect.
I do have a working CSV if you want to take a look at it.
Yeah, let's take a look.
Give me 1 second. This is set at 200% speed for this particular CSV.
cool, huh?
Yeah, I got this done over the weekend. I do need a reload and like a refresh button for the CSV because you can't just click it again because it's just gonna play it over again
Okay.
without
Okay.
editing. So I'll be working on that.
Right. Oh, that is really cool, though. That's exactly what we were looking for. So now people can just do that. Oh, and you're checking the diameter afterwards there, right?
Yeah.
I think in this case, all you would need to do is set the scale for each one of the discs back to the original value.
Oh yeah, but there's like it's like many of them, right?
Oh yeah, that can be done by just saying, get the children of this container, and do a for each of them, and just set the scale to the same
Oh
value
yeah,
each
for all
time.
these clones right here.
Yeah, I think that would be the fastest way to reset your part.
Yeah, okay. I'll do that.
Cool. Isn't that awesome, you guys? We've just made our own CNC lathe. That is so cool. And then we'll go over a few things. We'll probably want some sort of a menu to pull up the G code, right? That they're gonna run, and a menu to pull up what the command list is.
Oh yeah.
So just
Okay.
those, and then we'll talk about what kind of an output we would want. Capture image or display data, or so there's just a little bit of work left. But that's just nailed it. That was so cool. That is excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Yeah, and so when we get together, we'll go over whatever is cool and next up. Tristan, do you have anything to add?
Yes, I've posted a link in the discussion of the result of me importing the IFC into Blender, and that's the result in Unity. It imported quite nicely. I had some issues with the floor sort of at the same level of some other parts, and it was having that weird which object do I show flickering. But overall, it came in quite nicely, and all the parts that share the same type of material stayed that way.
Cool.
So I don't have millions of different types of materials of the same thing.
Right. Why did I get stuck there, I wonder?
Where do you get stuck?
Oh, I'm not sharing. On the stair.
Oh yeah, I think there's a height issue that I didn't have accommodate for. So you can just press spacebar to sort of hop over it.
Oh, there it goes. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I'm just cruising around up here. Okay, so that happens to work very well. I'll let Janice and know also that. Oh, and Danny's ready to show. Do you want to pull that up, Danny? Or do you want me to
Yes.
show? Okay, cool.
Yeah, give me 1 second. I still have you on my phone.
Okay, well I can share. I can share really quick.
Okay, yeah, if you want. I mean, I'll be.
Because here it is right here, right? And then I can share what I was doing with okay, so I'll put in my name.
Oh, your screen ended.
It did?
Yeah, the screen share stopped.
Okay, hold on. How about now?
Yep.
Okay, so there's my tutorial. And now I can get close to, what am I getting close to? The blacks?
So I think it actually will only work on the,
Oh,
oh no,
cool.
okay, it's
Look at
on there
that.
too. Yeah, so just any of them. So that's just, I just started messing around with it. It's not refined or anything, but those are the ones that are within your like sphere of reach.
Got it.
And so they're like quote unquote highlighted, but they just, the little particle thing. So I eventually want to make it look like, if you can imagine like in a video game or something, when you walk up to something and it kind of starts like glowing, but it's this like particle effect. So I'm
Yep.
going to try and get it to look a little bit more like that, like have it not go all the way up and everything. It's just, it's a little, obviously it's a little bit more complicated than I always think it is. I don't know
Right.
why I think that I
Right.
can
But
just
now at least you have a proximity effect,
Yes, yeah.
right?
Well, and I think, yeah, and I'm trying to think like if I do need to fix it so that if you click on an atom that it won't accidentally click the one behind it. And so I'm still working on that and stuff, because like I was thinking, well, maybe if we have the proximity thing, then you can kind of tell what's near you and you won't have that problem, but you still have that problem. So there's just some other things that I still need to kind of work on and everything. But I'm at least glad that I have most of the movement kind of down and at least have the triggers down and everything. So
Yeah,
Right.
to prevent one from being selected behind it, you would have to get a list of everything that the ray passed through, then do like a vector 3 distance to find the distance, whichever is closest.
yeah, which I kind of already have like the structure in for that. I just kind of need to add a couple lines and just finish
Are
it up.
you able to, and we can talk about this later, but are you able, because Tristan, you put in a depth of view thing, and I'm seeing it on here, right? When I get far away, certain things stop
Oh
showing.
yeah, that
Right.
is culling for objects at a certain distance.
Can
And since
you-
this isn't true scale, I think you're like 1,000 meters away.
Right.
Yeah.
So can you set that distance and instead of coal, put like a semi-opaque plane up so that everything behind that plane looks faded and everything in front of that plane looks sharp? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
So,
Well, so effectively, that's kind of what I'm already doing with the detecting whether or not it's in a certain radius of the player.
right.
And so I could create like another one of those, or just alter the one that's already in there with the particle system to make an effect like that. I just wonder, this would be a question for Tristan. I'd wonder, is that going to take up too many resources? Like, will it, because it would have to be checking every single atom, every single frame, I think. And I don't know if that would be like too
Well,
heavy
what
on the
distance are we
system.
talking about? Are we just what Randy was saying was like sort of like a partition? But is that from the viewer? If it is, then we could do something like what you're doing right now, where you have a radius around you, like a sphere. We could do like a literal inverted sphere. The normals of the sphere inverted, so you're looking from within out, and have that object's material as a transparent, and it would only show when there is a atom within it. That way, stuff behind it gets grayed out, sort of like what Randy wants, and that the object that you could select is visible normally.
The other thing that would be really cool, because it would be sort of molecular-y, is if instead of those being like bubbles going up, if they were like little electrons zipping around.
Oh, yeah.
So if
Yeah.
there's an effect that does that, like this is like spawning bubbles and then they go up, right?
Yeah.
If you had something that would spawn things and then they would just kind of like run around on the surface of it.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a way to do that. I'm sure there is. I just have to keep messing around with it. There's a lot of different things that you can
Right.
mess around with it,
So
which is cool.
but we'll get together and we'll talk about some of these. But this is nailing it, right?
Well, and another thing I
And
could
then
do is everything could kind of be set to just being
and
gray.
when I clicked on it, it actually went away.
Yeah,
right?
that's what they're doing right now. They're disappearing when you click on them. Oh wait, is this? Oh yeah, because this I haven't completely separated the tutorial and the
Oh, am I
the
in
like
the
the functionality of the tutorial
Oh, hold
versus the
on. I
functionality.
click.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, and so I'm toggling that and it goes away and comes back.
I need to fix that. I'm writing that down.
Oh, okay. It wasn't supposed to do that.
No.
Okay.
Well, because for the level 1, I just implemented so that it just disappears when you click it once. And if you do click it again, then it's gonna do the opposite, toggle it back on.
Okay.
So I wonder if you click
So it
in
looks like you're
exactly that
toggling the
same-
mesh itself, or the
Yeah. Well,
mesh
and
render.
that was another question that I had about the level 1 and finishing it off is what do we want to do with the atoms when you click select them? Because it says, and we're in the tutorial right now, so it doesn't say it, but usually it says, select 10 black atoms in the top left.
Right.
And so right now I had to it's not really actually implemented that it's supposed to disappear. What it actually is doing is putting a wireframe on it, but the wireframe is not rendering completely, so it actually just gets rid of it. And I kind of left it that way because I wasn't sure exactly what we were going to do next. So I just have to go in and figure out what we're actually going to do with what you select.
Right.
If
Okay.
that makes sense.
And this was the other cool one that we were just looking at, the walkthrough. And this is where